Hello, welcome to another episode of the Armchair Pundits World Cup special. We're on Ep.4 and we are going to take a look at the rest of the round 2 games from the World Cup so far. Gents, more games, still no sleep, but has some really good results, some shocking results, some record breakers, and lots to talk about. We'll start off with Argentina versus Austria after Lionel Messi breaks the World Cup goal-scoring record with 2 goals after missing a penalty in the first half. Gents, what did you make of the Argentina performance and Mr. Lionel Messi?
I know that no one don't want to talk about this. He's probably smashed up his keyboard, smashed his TV. Him and Ronaldo both vexed at the same time. But you see that his team, he there's moments in the game where he doesn't do a lot. He's walking pretty much, and the rest of the team are doing all of the running for him. But when he scores his goals, you see what it means to the team because they all come to celebrate with him. Even the last goal, which was pretty sweaty, and Messi, they still celebrated like they'd won the World Cup. So it kind of shows how important he is to that team. And the fact that he's got 18 goals in his career is, fantastic. Showing he's the best ever.
Do you know what's funny? It's weird because even though he's like classed as one of the greatest in just like footballing world, do you know, like when you're setting up your tactics and you're kind of putting man for man or you're doing zonal, surely there's conversations about who picks up Messi. Because in every phase of play, he is free as a bird. I just never understand it. Obviously, that's a sign of greatness, I know, because of the movement and he knows when to make the runs. But, you know, like when you watch so obviously when you're watching it real time and then you then watch the replay, you're thinking, there's no one next to him. Like not even touching distance. How is that even possible? But yeah, man, 17 goals is no easy feat. He's done that over 6 tournaments. But
18.
I've got a feeling.
18, bro.
18, brother.
18, is it 18? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 18 in 29 games, something like that.
Is it? Mbappe will smash that out of the park anyway. But anyway.
He probably will at some point, but maybe not this World Cup if Messi continues to score more goals. What did you think of the penalty miss? It kind of shell-shocked Argentina a little bit because I think, probably shell-shocked the whole stadium, including the Austrian players, because the game took a little bit of a lull afterwards. But what did you make of his penalty?
He didn't look confident.
He didn't want to break the record on a penalty. He wanted to break the record on a proper goal. He's a genius. So, you know, he has the foresight. He knew the real goal was coming later. So, if you know what, let me just do this now. Now, penalty-wise, he's never been the best penalty taker. He's missed loads of penalties through his career. So I wasn't shocked. To be honest, when I was watching it, I had a feeling he was going to miss it because he was fiddling with the ball too much on the spot. And I was like, he doesn't look the most confident. So when he missed the target, I was like, oh, wow. But it just made me think that the players will work even harder for him.
Yeah.
Because he has that kind of,
they've
been drilled. Like, we do all the work. You can walk around the pitch, but we'll do the running for you. And he always delivers. Or over the last 6 years, he's just delivered. So it just felt like him missing that penalty, it just made it even more of a chance they're not losing this game. And if they're going to lose anyway, it was even more of a chance they're not losing this game. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that they've got the most free-flowing, fluid team. But as you said, because the team is literally built around working hard to retrieve the ball, working hard on getting Messi that time and space that Lamont's referring to, the way he just kind of drifts in and out of the game. And whenever he does receive the ball, you see how people make runs because they know he's going to try and find them.
Yeah.
And you see how many times he was able to find players in space because he's like almost like it's a magnet. As soon as he gets the ball, there's just literally the opposition is always going to be scared of what he's capable of opening up. So from that perspective, it gives them opportunities. But it will be interesting to see if someone does put a man marking job on him. Man marking is not something you see often in the game nowadays. Like most teams play zonal, but because Messi doesn't do a lot without the ball, it render that person almost irrelevant. for much of the game if he's not doing much or if he's not involving himself, especially when they don't have the ball.
It depends on who they stick on him, really,
Mm.
because I don't know who they stick on him. If they're going to follow him and track him, then they're going to say that it's just going to be, 10 versus 10, and then the guy that's man marking Messi, it's going to be dependent on what team's fit and who's going to do most running.
Mm.
One thing about Argentina, though, what doesn't make sense is their two centre backs. That screams red card to me.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, it works at international level.
They
Argentina
don't
got the Messi
do the
tax, though.
same crazy things that they do at club level, but also they do get away with some stuff, because even
Yeah.
Romero got away with a couple things today, and that's the Romero that I've seen at Tottenham. So Lisandro Martinez had a good game, and for Argentina, he really does put a foot wrong. So, you know, from that perspective, you can't really argue with their record. Defensively, they're rock solid. I think, even though you wouldn't say the group of players individually, you wouldn't say you can rely on them, but together they've been awesome, really. And the fact that they've got McAllister and
Fernandez.
Fernandez,
Yeah, Fernandez.
the name just left me. Enzo Fernandez in midfield, they've got that extra bit of protection there as well. So, good performance. Obviously, Austria will feel a little bit unlucky that they didn't sort of put Argentina under more pressure, but 2-0 win for Argentina. They're through.
Last point in Argentina, they've conceded 1 goal in the last 10 games.
Well, there you go.
That shows you a lot, innit?
Yeah.
Says it all. All right. Well, moving on to another really, really good game at the weekend. Germany versus Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast were going to rue the chances that they missed to win that game. And a certain Simon Edingra with a absolute gilt edge opportunity after some amazing work from Nicolas Pepe. But Germany pulling it out again, doing what the Germans used to do back in the day. They haven't got a great run in the World Cup over the last few years since they won it. But the old Germany seems to be back, and Dennis Undav, super sub, moving like Solskjaer right now, off the bench in both games, and he's contributed to 3 goals, I think, now. So what did you make of that game? And Ivory Coast basically fluffing their lines.
Mate, all I'm saying is, Kimmich is having nightmares about their Monday, bro. Like that first half an hour to 40 minutes, all I could see is him there just doing the doggy paddle. Because as soon as they put the ball in the channel, he had his nose in the sky trying to keep up with him. And the Monday was keep on wanting the ball. But you know what they say, you can have all the possession that you want, but if you do not put it in the back of the net where it counts, it's worth nothing. And although it was good for spectacle-wise, I feel like Ivory Coast will look at that as an opportunity lost, to be honest. I do think, just my final point, that maybe starting Ahmad wasn't the best decision, only because when he came on as a sub in the last game, he made more dribbles than anybody in the World Cup up to that point. And in this game, he barely like featured. Like, not really. He wasn't a main player. And that's kind of how they engineer Ivory Coast to kind of, have Ahmad very vocal point of what they're doing. So Germany were good for it, like you said, Leon. And I think for the neutrals, they'll probably say that was a good game.
It's the tale of 2 substitutions, isn't it? And it's Undav and Adingra. If Adingra has a chance and you think, why is he taking a touch? And Undav, first of all, is the header. And then it's the second time.
That first touch.
That touch, take a bow, son. And then it finishes it. Where, that's the difference, man. That's what you got to be. You got to be a killer. You got to be clinical, and he was clinical.
It's mad because this guy was at Brighton, didn't really feature for them. He came on as a sub quite a lot, but since he's gone back to Germany, he's just hit the ground running, and he's been in real good form, I think, for Stuttgart. So this World Cup, coming on as a sub in both games, he'll be sort of pushing to start. But some guys don't always work as well as a starter, and it's kind of the point that Lamont made with Ahmad. Like sometimes players do perform better when they're an impact sub because they're running against tired legs and tired minds. Whereas when you start in a game and you're playing against those fresh players, it's a little bit more difficult for you to get yourself into the game. So it will be interesting to see what Germany do going forward.
I'm not sure they've got the balance right with Musiala and Wirtz. I'm not sure if it works with both of them. I think while Musiala was injured for basically most of the season, Wirtz ran the team. And he had more of the ball, more movement. And Musiala, because of how good he is, it's like, how can you not start him? But it seems like they get in each other's way at times, or it gets a bit overcomplicated. And they might need to look at dropping him because Wirtz is the one. Wirtz is their guy, innit? They're not going to drop Wirtz. So it might be a case where to improve further down the line, they've won 2 out of 2, but they got lucky against Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast should have won that game. So they may need to alter that and drop Musiala and make him an impact sub if they're going to go deeper into the tournament. But on Ivory Coast, they're just missing a striker, man. If this team had a Drogba or something like that, then this game would have been lights out completely. And fingers crossed, Diamande comes to Liverpool. That's all I got to say.
I don't know if you want to spend that 100 million they're quoting for him, though.
It's not my money. It's not my money.
That could be in another
I've looked at it. Do I look at it? In terms of right wingers, in general, he's the best out there. I would say as that.
He's a bit raw.
Yeah, but in terms of available right wingers, there isn't a better one available. So go and get him. He's 19. Have him for 5, 10 years, whatever. That's the way I look at it. If we miss out on him and he goes somewhere else, everyone's going to be saying you should have bought him. So just buy him. And then worry about that stuff later.
Fair enough. Well, Germany are guaranteed their place also with that win, 2 out of 2. Ivory Coast will have to play, I think Ivory Coast will play Curaçao, so they'll be hoping to secure their qualification in this next round in second place. On to another fairly shocking result, Ecuador, Curaçao. Ecuador, some people's underdogs, not any of us, but probably thought Ecuador would have done a little bit better in this tournament. But they drew 0-0 with Curaçao. Curaçao getting their first ever World Cup point. History made for them. Such a small nation. And their first appearance, managing to get a point is no mean feat. So probably not too much to talk about because the game was literally 0-0. But what did you make of the fact that Curaçao managed to hold out Ecuador?
Well, first had to make 16 saves in it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. It was 0-0, but by, you know what? Is it Valencia? They got Ecuador got in front of Valencia. Do you remember?
Yeah, Enner Valencia. He was at West Ham when he...
Right. Mate, he has not gone leaps and bounds. He's gone backwards, mate, because there's no way, right? I think Bevan and I were speaking about this yesterday. The Ecuador team had 15 shots on target, right? 5 of them were Valencia's. 1 of them was off target and another one was blocked. So in total, he had 7 shots on their goal. So he had about half of the opportunities that Ecuador did to put them ahead and blow Curaçao completely out of the water. We said it on probably maybe pod number 1. I know I've said it plenty of times. When you're in a team that maybe isn't one of the best, you need someone that can finish. And, you know, you also need to have a very, very good keeper. Everything else kind of like, you know, it can be middle of the road, but you need one of those. And if you have both, you got a chance of getting anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So Ecuador are going to look at that. They need to throw the stats up on the board when he's in a meeting. That's what they need to do. And say, Geezer, we might have had 75% possession, but you had 40% chances. So what's going on?
Well, they've got Germany next, so it won't be an easy feat. But credit where credit's due. You mentioned the keeper, Eloy Room, 15 saves, a World Cup record in the 90-minute match. And he's also gained 14 million Instagram followers since that match.
It's mad, isn't it?
So following in the footsteps of Vozinha, another World Cup goalkeeper, stealing the limelight, taking advantage of, you know, the chance to shine. So credit where credit's due, man. Is if you miss your chances, the keeper's still got to save them, and for him to have saved 14 shots is crazy. So fair play to Curaçao. I'm sure they'll be celebrating for the rest of the year because I don't think they probably ever expected to have managed to get a point in this World Cup. But credit where credit's due. Credit where credit's due. Next, we'll talk about Netherlands versus Sweden. Sweden, after winning 5-1 in their first game, were on the receiving end of a hiding 5-1 in this game. Netherlands finally hitting some kind of form. A couple of goals from Brobbey, Gakpo, and Somerville. What do you guys make of that performance from Netherlands?
Really good performance. I mean, you always wait for them to actually step up because they often flat to deceive or they muddle their way through tournaments and they have like a good game, like maybe the third game, but players playing free in positions that they're used to playing, and I don't know, Sweden just having, I don't know, it's just a bit lackluster.
They didn't seem like they were ever in the game. Like even when
Defensively, attacking they're fine.
Defensively, they were poor. Awful. Yeah. Because even Gakpo's goal, I knew what Gakpo was going to do. How did the defender not know? He's the only one that didn't know. How could you not know?
Everyone did.
And the only reason when it changed, I watched the game, and when they got to the water break, I was like, they need the water break. And by then, they're 2-0 down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they got to the water break, they changed their formation, and they were a little bit better. And I think they had a chance where they were offside. And if that goes in, then then it's 2-1, and you're thinking stuff can happen. There was some good moments in attack because Isak and Gyökeres and Ayari, there were moments when they were linking up well. It was just they didn't take their chances, and the Netherlands did.
What I will say is Isak tried to drop into like the Vert's role. He tried to be what he was trying to do was, for me, just not in keeping with him as a player, for me personally. Yeah, he was trying to like do little
good game,
but no, what
good,
I'm saying
bro.
is, no, but he's trying to do. He what he was trying to do. The rest of the team weren't on his page, so he had to refine it a bit more. He had to go back to the basics. He's trying to do these flicks around the corners, and no one was reading it, James. That's my point I'm trying to make. Like, you still need to read the room. Like, I think Gyökeres got onto one of the chances that he done and that was early on. But outside of that, it weren't really noticeable.
I don't know if I agree with that, man.
I disagree because I think him and Ayari and Gyökeres linked up well. There's a lot of times they did some good intricate passes. I don't think you can put it on the attack. It's the defense.
It's the end product. Just wasn't there from the attack for sure.
Yeah, they didn't. They hit the target a lot. The keeper had to make saves, but then in defense, the defense didn't help them, and they couldn't. When they were playing free at the back, there was just too much space.
Horrible. Yeah,
just way too much space for them for the wing, for Marlon and for Gakpo.
Yeah, they couldn't handle Brobbey neither.
They couldn't handle Brobbey either. No, they couldn't. But they couldn't handle anybody. That defense looked like it couldn't fight its way over.
Never played together before.
They don't know what's going on
before.
And that shows you how bad Tunisia are.
Well, yeah, because Japan beat them 4-0 as well. And, you know, that group is actually wide open because obviously any one of those three teams can go through. Japan have to play Sweden. Netherlands get to play Tunisia. Tunisia will be playing for pride. And I can't see them managing to hold off Netherlands. So it really is out of Japan and Sweden probably to clinch that second spot.
All three can go free, bro. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, all three can
The
go
best third
through.
places.
I think it's more about, obviously, you don't want to end on 3 points. And if Sweden lose, 3 points may not be enough. I don't know if the
Goal
goal
difference is
scored
minus
might
12.
help them
Yeah.
because obviously they scored 5 goals. So that might work in their favour. But we will see. We will see. Next up, we had Spain. After drawing 0-0 with Cape Verde, they managed to win 4-0 against Saudi Arabia. A certain young Lamine Yamal stepped onto the stage, starting the game, and got his first goal in the World Cup. And Oyafabal ended up with a brace and an assist. Spain finally turning up. What did you make of the game?
Wasn't the greatest, but Ayafabal scored 9 goals in his last 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Considering they drew the game before that 0-0. So he's on good form, but there's too much tiki-taka at times, and they need Yamal's out of the box, off the cuff football. Yeah, and Nico. Once Nico gets fully fit, all 3 of their wingers are injured, their main wingers. Munoz, who we just signed as well, is injured as well. So they were the guys that were supposed to open up for them. And the difference he made, even when he came off in the previous game to that game, it was chalk and cheese. And when they scored the first goal, it was just like, how many after that? And yeah, they played 45 minutes.
I think that Saudi Arabia, they let them score the same goal 3 times. We're at the back stick, and there's no. They watched Yamal. They looked at him. He'll be all right. We don't need to worry about him. And then he pops up with the goal. And the same thing happens with Yafabal's goal. And then the same thing happens with the own goal. That they just left players alone at the back stick by themselves. Nobody was marking. Nobody knew him. Nobody saw him. Yeah, that's that. I don't think they're gonna get an easier game than that.
No, definitely not. I mean, they have to play Uruguay next, but they're actually through. They're not the guaranteed top spot there, but they're through based on the fact that the other teams have all drawn and none of them have won a game yet. And following that, we'll actually talk about Cape Verde versus Uruguay. Cape Verde, again, shocking many, but this time getting a 2-2 draw over Uruguay. Uruguay will be ruining missed chances in that game also, but a stunning free kick in the first half.
Oh, wait. I want to stop you there, Leon. Can I just ask you a question about that stunning free kick? When you saw that free kick, did it not remind you of something else that you see before? You got something to say, Bev? So when I saw that free kick, Leon, right, I thought to myself, this reminds me of Roberto Carlos. From that kind of range, the swaz that he had on it. No?
There was no swaz on that shot, bruv. In fact, it was actually pretty poor goalkeeping. They went right through the
Very
wall,
poor.
didn't go around it, and it literally, I don't know what Muslera was doing, but Muslera's getting a little bit on now, and his reaction was pretty poor to it, to be honest with you. But I'm going to say stunning because he gets it on target, and it's not in the middle of the goal. It's towards the corner. He's hit it brilliantly, as clean as you can hit it. But the keeper, for me, has got to do better there.
The wall's
got to do better.
The wall was not available. They just jumped up.
They jumped up and there was a gap right in the middle.
There was more than one gap. There was about 3 gaps in there. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, he's going to be a hero anyway.
Well, it's 30 yards. Pina with the goal.
First goal.
30-yard free kick. It's going to be in the top goals of the World Cup. Let's be real. Probably shouldn't have gone in, but hey, credit where credit's due. Cape Verde have done their thing since they come in this tournament, and they could be on the verge of qualifying for the next round. They need to obviously get a result against Saudi Arabia, and both teams will feel that they're capable of beating each other. So it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. But Uruguay, obviously, no Suarez, no Cavani. Forlan retired enough time ago. They don't have that same kind of cutting edge up front. And we've always said, like, when those guys retire, where's the next guy going to come from? And Darwin Núñez just hasn't really jumped into that spot.
Not yet.
So,
even, do you know what?
They scored a goal for them for like a year. And he obviously got dropped from his club as well. They brought in Benzema and then deregistered him. So he's not played any football coming to his tournament.
Wow, that's disrespectful.
And it shows. But even Cape Verde's second goal, Messi, what is he thinking? What is the keeper thinking? What? Why?
Yeah, bro.
Why has he done
no
that?
man's land.
Don't get me wrong.
Comes out for no reason.
The finish, like to take it first time and bury it like that
Yeah.
with that amount of pressure, can't fault it. But I don't know what the keeper's thinking, man. He's had a mare.
Well, he actually redeemed himself in the last minute with a save 1-on-1 to stop a historic win for Cape Verde. But honestly, really impressed with Cape Verde since they've been in this tournament, and hopefully, I'm rooting for them to get through. It will be great to see them go through to the next round because they've performed admirably since they've been in the tournament. So we will see. We will see. Next up, we've got Canada, who absolutely battered Qatar. Now, the main reason we're talking about this game is because someone's prediction and because of a certain incident during the match, which ended up with a broken leg to Kone. So, Lamont, your boy, your pick, Jonathan David, off the mark with a hat-trick.
In style as well, in style. But I told you he'll come good, mate. I told you he'll come good. You just need to keep the faith. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say too much on it. Qatar gifted them 6 goals, albeit 1 or 2 of them were decent. But by and large, in a tournament, you shouldn't be conceding this many goals. The likes of Sweden and the likes of Bosnia, these teams that are just conceding these volume of goals in the World Cup. It's a little bit embarrassing. I think also the fact that you can't keep the discipline to keep, at least 11 players in the pit. 10, all right, arguably, there can be a mistake, but 9. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself no chance, man. The red card, depending on what mood you get me in, depending on what I feel about it, I'm going to be honest, bruv. I'm going to be honest because yesterday I said to you it was probably a yellow. Today I'm like, it was harsh. The day before yesterday I was saying he should have got 2 reds. It's one of them, innit? Every time I see another angle and I look at Kone's face, the sheer shock in what he was witnessing just kind of said it all. So, heartfelt, regards go out to Kone and his team and stuff. And I hope he does recover well, but that's going to be 9 months of his career that he can't get back.
4 to 5, they said.
Is it only 4 to 5, is it?
Yeah, 4 to 5.
What, fibula and tibula?
Yeah, when it's knees that take that full season, leg breaks are not as long.
Okay, fair enough. But still, what are we in now? So he ain't going to be back until New Year's. So, and then obviously that's just light work. And then he'll be having to get back to match fit. So, depending on if he's still at his club or whatever the case may be. But yeah, look, anyway, Qatar got slapped 6-0 pretty much. And Jonathan David done what he does, put the ball in the back of the net.
Found his level.
Saliba's free kick. The real Saliba.
The real Saliba.
No, it was a really good free, considering he's the guy that came on for Kone as well. It was a nice touch, scores the free kick, then goes gets his shirt. It was a quality free kick.
It was indeed. It was indeed. Well, lastly, we'll talk about one of the underdogs / biggest teams that are kind of falling by the wayside. Belgium, 2 draws, 2 very disappointing performances. We know that the golden generation is pretty much over now. They still got a few guys in the team from that, it being Lukaku, De Bruyne, Meunier, Courtois. But do you think that their chances of being a real player in this tournament is over?
Bro,
Yeah.
They look horrible.
Do you know the best part about that game was Kevin De Bruyne's touch?
Yeah.
That was the best part about the whole game.
I was going to say when it was over, but fair play.
Yeah.
Listen, when Kevin De Bruyne brought the ball down and he's played it along the box and Meunier's had the chance, I'm thinking, that's 1-0. And the keeper's made a good save. Then it wasn't. And I'm screaming at the TV, how has he not scored? The only other thing
the biggest thing about... You're going, so good.
The only thing would have made it better is if Tarami was onside. Is it Tarami?
Oh, yeah, Taremi, yeah.
Taremi for that free kick. It was a brilliant free kick
nice
as well.
If he was
Very
onside, if they had got done by that schoolboy free kick and he was onside, he was offside by his backside. Crazy. Crazy work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, there's nothing to
I'll say
say
the-
about that game.
The biggest thing about Belgium is off the field. The nonsense of people criticizing, or the journalists criticizing Doku for potentially leaving the World Cup to see the birth of his child. That's the biggest thing about Belgium.
You know,
the
what's,
nonsense she was coming out with. Hey,
people want to talk about Emma Hayes, and she's actually talking good stuff. But that
Mhm.
woman, that journalist, what she's talking about, what the language that she was using was terrible for his first child. Is that what we're talking about? He can go back and he can go and come back. I get it. It seems worse because of how garbage their team, rubbish that Belgium were in that game. But yeah, a man can.
the funny thing is, Ostigard had a baby on Friday. No one said nothing.
Who did?
That's what I'm saying.
Ostigard
Oh,
for Norway.
For
Yeah,
Norway.
no,
His wife had a baby Friday. No one said nothing.
Norway won though, innit?
Yeah,
Norway won and Belgium looked horrible. So obviously they're going to have to say, well, this is the reason why. Maybe if he was there, then they'd be decent. But what about the other players on that team? Like the Kurtler, he looked horrid. So yeah, they can blame.
He hasn't even gone yet.
Sorry?
And they're never going to be in the quarterfinals. I think it's around the quarterfinals time where it may happen. It's like the second week in July. I don't think they're going to make it that far.
Right now, they're bottom of the table with 2 points. All 3 teams are level on 2. So it's not over for them, but it's going to be very difficult for them to get out of that position. They have to win their last game. If they win their last game, they're through.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they might be out in the first round or in the group stage. So we will see. Well, that is our roundup of the main talking points from round 2 of the World Cup. Still a few big games to go. England playing Ghana. Portugal and Mr. CR7 will be looking to get himself off the mark after many of the other stars, you would say, have already made their mark in this tournament. So we will be back to talk about those games, and we will also continue to review round 3 of the World Cup. So please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, leave your comments, leave who your sort of moments of the tournament so far, who you've been impressed with, who you've not been impressed with, and yeah, just stay with us. But no, thank you for joining, gents. Thanks as always for being up late to do this. Until the next time, take care.
Peace.